Hello, in this video we are going to be using the factor rating method to decide which location is the most desirable for us to locate a facility at. In the factor rating method, you come up with a list of factors and then you rate each location based on a scale that you have determined, hence factor rating. So we are considering a case where we're looking at transportation costs, facility costs, labor availability, and quality of life. Now, in order to do this, we need, as I said, each location to be rated on a score of 1 to 10 in each category. And for some, like transportation costs and facility costs, I've made a previous video where I've explained how that works. So if you have a cost of 5 million and 6 million, how do you decide who gets a 10 and who gets a 7.3? For other things like labor availability and quality of life, someone needs to come up with a list of desired characteristics and a rubric or a grading scale for deciding how one city gets a 7 and the other city gets a 9.3. And deciding how to do that is outside the scope of this video, but for example, quality of life. Does that mean it has to have professional sports? Does that mean it has to have good outdoor recreational activities like hiking or skiing or hunting or tennis or golf, good schools, fine art? What does that mean? Ballet, symphony? I don't know. Once you've decided those and have a rating on a 10-point scale for each location, for each category, then we need to know what the weights for each category are, and the weights should add to 100. And then the process really is quite simple. We're going to take the score in each category and multiply it by the weight to get a weighted score. So we could call this the raw score for each location, and then we're going to calculate the weighted score for each location. And then we will simply add them up, and the location that has the highest weighted score is the location that we should choose. So we have Reno, we have Salt Lake City, and we have Denver. So Reno got a 10 on transportation because it had the cheapest transportation. So 10 times 0.3, so Reno gets 3.0. Salt Lake got a score of 8, so 8 times 3, we get 2.4. And then Denver, 9.5 times 0.3, got a score of 2.85. All right, now I'm going to stop talking so I can speed up the next part of the video. Now that we have found the weighted scores for each location, we just add them up. So what we see is that Reno had a weighted sum of 9.3, Salt Lake City is 8.75, and Denver is 9.25. So following the logic of this process, we should choose Reno as our ideal location because it has the highest weighted score. However, once we stop to think about it, we realize that Reno and Denver actually are very, very close. So it's worth taking a look at those two to see if that really is the final decision that we want to make. One thing we might look at is what is our most important category, and in this case we have two that were both worth a weight of 30, transportation and facility costs, and Reno had scores of 3.0 and 2.7. Denver had a 3.0 and a 2.85. So Denver scored a little bit higher on those two most important categories. However, when we take everything all together, including labor availability and quality of life, we see that at the end, Reno ended up with the highest score and would therefore, in theory, be our chosen answer. This method can be useful if we have, say, a dozen locations that we're considering, and maybe we use this process, and in the end we choose the one or the two locations with the highest score to maybe take a deeper dive to make sure we really know where we want to locate. So, to recap, we have a 10-point scale rating for every location on each category. We have a weight for each category. We take the score times the weight to get the weighted score. We add those up. We choose the location that has the highest overall score. I hope this has been helpful.